On any given day, there are dozens, maybe hundreds of Pulitzer Center journalists out there in the world, any country you can imagine, doing really interesting work, and all of that comes through the Pulitzer Center's education department. The Pulitzer Center is an education organization. I mean, that's really what we do here. Our core mission is to support journalists in their travels abroad to cover systemic global issues. So once the work is published, we recognize that it has tremendous value to broad segments of the population, including young people who will be very interested in it. That's why we deliberately work with schools, we work with educators.
We're teaching writing, well, let's not write about dinosaurs, for instance. Let's write about an overfishing problem, or let's write about how leather is affecting the health of people who live there. So there's these big issues that kids care about and can connect to. And so why don't we make it meaningful and engaging for them?
When I start the school year, I think of Pulitzer first. My immediate thought is, how is Pulitzer going to fit into this?
Historically, what we've done is bring journalists into classrooms.
For me, I express my activism through filmmaking. And I make documentary films and I tell stories about issues that I really care about.
What we'd like to do is reach as many teachers as possible. And one way that we've done that is by building a lesson builder tool. It's a web-based curriculum builder. It's very, very simple, very, very quick. It searches all of our projects, everything that we've ever done. You can find photographs, you can find video, you can find articles, and very quickly build a lesson around them. So just add some context for students, add some questions, hit publish, and you're done.
So it could be something very simple with just going to the website and grabbing an article or watching a clip. So it certainly saved me time, and I knew the information was going to be good. And it's also readable. I'm using this with 14-year-olds.
It's an easy way to enhance the curriculum. It's completely connected. I think that any teacher could do it, and just try it, and don't worry about not getting it right the first time, because the Pulitzer Center is super supportive with answering questions or providing other resources or anything teachers need. So it's not like you're doing this completely alone.
That if you're talking about current events, you don't have that in a textbook. So it's a really easy way to bring in legitimate sources for current events.
Any of these projects can bring life to standards and bring a lot of engagement and excitement for kids very easily without much effort from the teacher.
Skype and Google Hangout bring them into the classroom. And we've seen many instances where teachers can add huge value at a time when it works for them.
Having somebody else come in who has actually witnessed what we're talking about in class makes a complete difference to the atmosphere in the classroom. In the instance with Joshua Yaffa, we were talking to someone in Moscow, and he was showing us, he was lifting up his computer as we're Skyping with him, showing us out the window, this is where we are, and the kids were like, oh my gosh, we're in Moscow, and they just thought that was so incredible.
Global education is really important, and that teaching informational texts, teaching nonfiction texts is very important, and teaching kids how to be able to unpack those texts and compare and contrast them and understand voice is very important. The question is, what kinds of texts are you going to use? And we think journalism is an incredibly powerful text to use in that situation.
We know kids need to be leaving schools with skills like critical thinking, problem solving, empathy, compassion. These projects all create that, so does knowing the news.
So I think what my connection with Pulitzer has allowed me to do is hopefully start to reach the top of the purpose of technology in the classroom, which is to provide experiences that would otherwise be impossible.
What we can offer at the Pulitzer Center is deep resources on these issues. If you use our materials, you don't have to explain water and sanitation in one class. You can do it over a series of classes through these really vivid stories that capture the imagination through a number of different media.
Every time we speak with Pulitzer reporters, they treat the students like adults, and they completely respect their questions.
How do you differentiate between just a picture of a person and a picture of something that has a deeper meaning?
Wow. That's a tough question.
So the students come away feeling like they've participated in something very important.
Reach out to us and tell us, hey, I have a plan. I want to do something interesting around commodities, or I want to do something interesting around fragile states. And we'll work with you to create journalism interactions that really flesh out your curriculum using many different projects.
it's not learning worksheet style. It's not learning because the teacher wants them to learn it. It's because they want to know. They see the meaning. They see how it changes how they view the world.